Hello there, everyone. I need to show you something, and I'm sorry, but look, all right, just here you go. Yep, that was Legiana throwing up with poison. I know, and this might just be me, but until recently, I had no idea this happened. This is such a random, yet incredibly awesome and unique and admittedly maybe a little bit kind of disgusting interaction that is just specifically a poison fuck you to Shrieking Legiana. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. Again, in an objective kind of way, what's actually going on here is really messed up. So the reason this occurs is, well, Shrieking Legiana is super weak to poison, but so are many other monsters, so why particularly Shrieking Legiana? Well, it's actually, to me, a nod to her biology. In fact, the quest where you first go to hunt her, the story quest in Iceborne, you get given poison knives in the item box. They really were kind of pushing you towards it. But let's be honest, 1, who hunts Shrieking Legiana? 2, who uses poison against her? And 3, even while doing so, who's looking out for, oh, maybe she'll, vomit it up in a normal hunt. This has got to be one of the most unique, rare interactions I have ever seen, but I'm so glad it exists. So, Legiana's body is quite fascinating, if you know what I mean. She has freezer sacs inside her body that are, well, obviously quite cold, and they are connected to glands on the outside of her body. In tandem, they secrete a substance that reacts to moisture in the air to freeze incredibly quickly and voluminously into the mountain of ice that she then pelts at you using her acrobatic movements to send it throwing and dancing through the air off of her skin. You also notice that her chest has a few kind of like lines and holes in it. She is a very, I guess, porous creature is the best way to say it. All this is to mean that poison particularly really lances through her system. Her own biology gives it a path to really cripple her. Indeed, Legiana can't produce ice while she's poisoned. It sickens these sacs and glands and makes them all but useless. And instead of producing this freezing liquid, in fact now produces toxin, which add to the effects of the poison to begin with, and essentially it's a really bad experience, which causes, Sorry to just sneak that in there again, but it is a really awesome interaction that is relevant to Legiana, that has really been thought about and just gives that bit much more life to a world already bursting at the seams with it. It really is Monster Hunter all over. And I only really have 2 things to say. Well, 3. Firstly, I can't believe I did not know about this. It's so cool and I'm really happy to share it with you all. Really happy. 2, why is this not a thing for more monsters? Why isn't there a monster that's particularly affected by paralysis, that after being paralyzed once occasionally has little moments where it happens for like half a second, interrupts her attack or something with blast or sleep, making it drowsy or slower, but, really play with statuses and monster biology. They're not just effects or damage, but you can actually tailor yourself to really cripple them on a much more anatomical level. So I would love to throw this question out to you guys. What would be the equivalent of this for blast, sleep, and paralysis, but for other monsters? I'd love to know your thoughts. And then the final thing is, imagine using this concept as a way to introduce a Legiana deviant, because of course Shrieking is the variant, and Shrieking just does what normal Legiana does, but, more extreme, so she's even worse off with poison. But imagine a deviant that, you know, has mastered the poison, maybe poisoned so deeply that it was permanent, corrupted the glands into not just poison glands, not just frost glands, but poison frost glands, so that the ice she produces is purple in colour and hits you and applies both poison and ice blight, a kind of toxic snow Legiana. I really think there is a lot in dual application monsters that can apply both, I don't know, fire and Thunder Blight, you know, 2 negative debuffs at once in a really lovely combination of elements. Obviously the extreme is Elatrion, but little mini versions of it with 2 or maybe 3 at a push between status and element, I think is a really, really cool idea. Just like Namiel with water and lightning is really awesome. Monsters that can double up are very much remembered because it is very, very cool. So I like the idea of her producing quite literally frozen poison and hurling that at you as a Legiana deviant. In any case, that's about all I have to say about a little interaction where a monster throws up because it doesn't like poison, so I will leave it there. Let me know what you thought, like you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon. A good boy.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.